So I have a 2008 Lincoln Mark LT pickup truck. We are going to be replacing the front hub assembly. Let me get the part number for you. Here you go. This is what you need if you do not have time to, order online. I'm gonna put a link in the description. That I didn't purchase this one, but I prefer 1A Auto products. Sometimes you can even buy them in a pair. A lot of them are lifetime warranty. I have never had any complaints with them. Just great stuff. Like I said, I'll leave a link in the description. But first, you want to take off the 21 millimeter lug nuts, and then you're going to remove brake caliper, which is just your two standard 13 millimeter bolts. Take those out, put them in a safe place. Get your large screwdriver, put it in there. These are going to have these pressurized clips, so careful. Take these out of the brake pads. There we go. Now remove your brake pads. So to remove the caliper bracket, there's just, I can't really see, it's very sunny outside, but one and then a second 18 millimeter caliper bracket bolt. Now once you get the rotor off, you need to take off this little cap to access the nut to the axle. Just pry something in there. There you go. Now I believe that's a 13 millimeter. Let me check this real quick. Yeah, so that's a 13 millimeter. So if you're doing this by hand and it's really nice and loose, when you spin this 13, the axle does too. So just reach back there, grab a hold of that while you undo this. If you have air tools or power tools, it usually rips them right off, so you'll have no issues there. You want to make sure it moves freely through there, which it does, so it's not seized up. So we can just remove this. And then we need to remove 1, 2, let me get you some light. 2, 3, and 4 18 millimeter bolts. So once you finalize the last 2 bolts, take those out. So once that's out, the only thing holding this on is just rust. So we're gonna get a hammer and knock some of that rust loose. So as I said, just get a hammer and we just want to break it loose. Which, as you can tell, it's nice and free now. Let me just pull it out. Definitely gonna need 2 hands for this, but just showing you that. You see how the bond broke? Just for sake of filming. Oh. There we go. And then we can go ahead and just leave it like that for right now. There's really nothing holding it in. So we're gonna need to disconnect this ABS wire. Just follow it up. Usually they're in the engine bay of these trucks, but I'm seeing a clip right here, so I'm hoping. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, this clip just goes right behind that panel. You want to hook it, and there you go. This is free to come off the axle, and that's what she looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and just get this all cleaned up and put a little grease in there and get all the rust off here, because you want a nice tight fitting. Always break out your new one and compare it, make sure it's same size, make sure you're not missing anything in here. But I got it all cleaned up, so it's time to reinstall this the new one. Now when reinstalling your new one, you want to make sure you put your ABS wire to the left so we can reroute it back up underneath there. But yeah, you just slide this in, make sure it's nice and flush. And then I'm gonna need 2 hands. I can't really film this part, but yeah, get it nice and flush, start putting your bolts back in. Alright, so once you feed your 4 bolts through, you don't want to tighten them all up one at a time. You just want to keep going in a crisscross pattern to make sure it's nice and flush. And then it spins nice and smooth in there like it should. and then start with that right there in that indent. Then we can go ahead and put the rest of the car back together, and then I'll run the ABS wire later. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just put that and do your 13mm nut back on your axle. So after you get the 13mm back on, you just put your rotor back on, caliper bracket, just reverse those last steps, and then, like I said, once you get your caliper back on, that's when I'll run this back up and connect it, and you're all done.